All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College. And in my unending quest, in order to try to help people in the Rankin Technical College AWD 1000 Web Development Technologies course and the AWD 1111 Database Driven Website Development course, I've been going through a series of video presentations I'm creating based off of the ebooks by Mr. Flavio Copes. So far, I've done Mr. Copes' HTML ebook and his CSS ebook, and I'm now in his JavaScript ebook. All right, and we're up to page 21 of 70, talking operators. And as mentioned there, operators allow you to get two simple expressions and combine them to form a more complicated expression. Now, some operators are known as unary operators because they have only one operand. Some are known as binary operators because they have two operands. And one is known as the ternary operator. So imagine I've got this. Let's just keep it real simple. I'm going to say let num1 equal 27. Let num2 equal 13. Let sum equal num1 plus num2. Let diff equal num1 minus num2. Let prod, or the product, equal num1 times num2. Let quote, which is short for quotient, equal num1 divided by num2. Let's even put a couple more in here. And one more. We'll say let mod equal num1 modulo num2. So let's look at these real quick. And you're all smart enough that you can already tell 27 plus 13 is going to give you 40. All right. 27 minus 13 is going to give you 14. 27 divided by 13, I believe the way JavaScript will do it is I don't think it'll throw away the remainder. I could be mistaken. But it's going to give you 2 and 1/13. So let's see. If I do, let's just do it on here. So 27 divided by 13, that's wrong, try it again. 27, I think I said 27 divided by 3 there, divided by, whoops, let's clear it. 27 divided by 13 equals, there we go. Now you may not get it out to that many decimal places, but you're going to get something like that. Oh, that is the next one. 27 times 13 is what? I think 351 if I did my math right. And finally, 27 divided by 13 is 2 with a remainder of 1. So there's your normal mathematical operators that you see right there. All right. So all of these, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, every one of those is what's known as a binary operator because it has 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 operands. All right. Well, let's suppose that I have one more number here, or one more variable, and I say let max, and I'm not going to give it a value. So right now its value is undefined. All right. So if I'm going to come down here and I'm going to say, I could write something like this. If num1 is greater than or equal to num2, if that's the case, then max equals num1. Else max equal num2. Totally fine code. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. And as you can see, I wrote it. And I typically don't like to put my else on the same line, so I usually write it like this. But it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines. Totally fine. Not a problem with it. But it can be rewritten as this. You can say max equal, and then put your check in there like you had before. And then say question mark num1 colon num2. That's it. So that's replaced 6 lines of code with 1 line. This is a ternary operator because it has 1, 2, 3 operands. This says perform this test. If this test is true, take num1 and assign it to max. If this test is false, take num2 and assign it to max. All right, so there's just a couple examples of operators. So I just showed you addition, I showed you subtraction and division, and the remainder, and multiplication. There's also exponentiation. So let's look at that one. All right, so I can create myself another variable up here, and I'm going to show you two ways rather. I can say let, and I'm going to call it TSQ for 3. How about THSQ? That's going to be 3 squared. I can say that equals 3 times 2. That's going to give me 9. So that is 3 squared, or 9. Now, that exponentiation operator is fairly new. Before you could use that, you'd say this. So I'm going to say let 3 squared. Now, I wouldn't name two variables 3 squared. I'm just showing you there's two ways of doing it. So I could have said math.pow for the power function. And what do I want to pass in? The number 3, and what do I want to do to it? I want to square it. That is also 3 squared, or 9. Okay? All righty. So that's exponentiation. There's two ways of doing it. Precedence, take a look right here. It's kind of what you learned back, at least with me, I think it was in junior high, that you do addition, addition and subtraction after you do multiplication, division, and modulo. All right, so this is the order of precedence. If you've got a very complex expression like this, you do these 3 first, then you do these 2, then you do this one. How do you change that order if you want to? You use parentheses, all right, because you can use that for overriding. All right, comparisons. All right, so let's take a look at what we had in here before. All right, so I'm going to look at these. Now, I'm going to get rid of these because I've already shown all this to you. In fact, let's just do this. I'll remove it, and I'll put it on its own there. All right, so I can say this. If num1 equal num2, that's going to be false. I can also say if and there's a difference between these, which I'll explain in a minute. If num1 equal num2, that's also going to be false. I can say if num1 greater than num2, and that's going to be true. I can say if num1 greater than or equal to num2, that again is going to be true. I can say if num1 less than num2, and that's going to be false. I can say if num1 less than or equal to num2, that is going to be false. I can also say there's two more. If num1 not equal to num2, that's going to be true. And I can also say if num1 not equal to num2, and that's also going to be true. So let's look at each one of these. The difference between 2 equals and 3 equals is, I'm just to show you this real quick. All right. If I had, if num1 was 27, like it is, and if num2 was the string 27, this one would give you false. This one would give you true. So triple equals is called the identity and equality operator. So in other words, are they equal to each other and are they the same type of variable? All right, well, it's pretty obvious that 27 is not equal to 13. This is just straight equality, so it doesn't check the type. So again, with this one, if I had 27 and I had 27, this one would say that was true if I was comparing these two things. All right. Is 27 greater than 13? Yes, so it's true. Is it 27 greater than or equal to 13? Yes, so it's true. Is 27 less than 13? No, so it's false. Is 27 less than or equal to 13? No, so it's false. Is 27 not equal to 13? It's not, so it's true, and not equal. So that's not equal with identity. That's just a straight not equal. All right? All right, so that you can see their examples. I'm just going to leave it right there. Okay. All right, I'm still doing good on time. So conditionals. All right. So you've already seen those right here. This thing that you have inside of the curly braces, all right, that thing that you put in there, that's known as a Boolean condition. It has to be true or false. So imagine, I'm going to just very quickly just kind of mock up something here. So I'm going to say here, I'm going to call this number grade. And I'm going to give it a value. I'm going to say a person took a test and they got an 87. And I'm going to call this letter grade. And I'm not going to give it a value. In fact, I'll call it the empty string, meaning there's nothing in it. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say if number grade is greater than or equal to 90, and, because that's how you do it, and number grade is less than or equal to 100. So if it falls in that range, then letter grade is an A. All right, so if you get between 90 and 100, you get an A. Else, if, I'm just going to grab this one again. And I'm going to actually write this two ways just so you can see them both. All right, and we'll put here 80. And we'll put here 89. And that'll be a B. And here we'll put 70 and 79, and that'll be a C. And here we'll put 60 and 69, and that'll be a D. All right, here we'll put 0 and 59, and that'll be an F. Whoop, that was a D, not a BB. That'll be an F. And then here we're just going to say else, and I'm going to say letter grade equal, we'll just say invalid input. Okay, now don't worry about the fact that we set number grade. Okay, I don't care what that value is right now. If this is true, if we had put in a number between 90 and 100, we're going to set letter grade equal to A, and we're going to skip the rest of this. If we put in a value that's between 80 and 90, we'll skip this, we'll do this, and we'll skip all the rest of this. If we put in a number between 70 and 79, we skip this, we do this, and we skip this. If we put in a number that's between 60 and 69, we'll skip this, we'll do this, and we'll skip this. If we put in a number between 0 and 59, we'll skip this. In other words, we'll still test it, but it'll be false every time. So we won't do any of these. We'll do this, and then we'll skip this. If we put in something that's either non-numeric or less than 0 or greater than 100, we're going to end up skipping all these and just doing this. And if you can understand that when we run this program, one of these statements, either 5 or 8 or 11 or 14 or 17 or 20, one of those statements must run. In other words, letter grade must be set to either A, B, C, D, F, or invalid input, but it can only be set to 1. And if you understand that, there's not really any more to simple conditionals than this. Now, I do want to show you something. All right. Since we know that if you get down to here, we know the number has got to be less than 90. These we don't really even have to make checks that are this difficult. We can actually do this. Like that. Why? Because here we do have to check the whole limit here. Okay, to see if it's greater than or equal to 90, but less than or equal to 100. If we get down to here, we don't have to check to see if it's less than or equal to 89. Because if it was above 89, it would have been caught here. So this will do the same thing, but it's less code. What I've just done is typically what's referred to as I've refactored my code. Okay, I've made it run a little bit better. Okay, so that's kind of it for conditionals right there. I gave you the if, I gave you the else. Strings, again, a string is a sequence of characters that you put in either single quotes or double quotes. There's no difference. I use double quotes for my strings almost exclusively just because of the fact that the other programming languages that we teach at Rankin Technical College, those other programming languages being C# and Java, require that strings be in double quotes. Okay? All right. This is referred to as the empty string, either single quote, or double quote. Those are both the empty string. Now, they talk here about template literals. All right. And I'm going to quickly try to show you what a template literal is. Okay. And that'll bring this lesson pretty much to a close. And that's a good place to stop, would be at arrays. Okay, so if I come in here, and this is what I showed you before. Now I want to print out the results of the letter grade. Okay, so there's different ways I can do it, but let's just say that I come in and I put in an alert, which is a little box that comes up with a message in there. And I say, your letter, in fact, we'll put them both. Your number grade was, and then we put in here plus number grade. Okay, plus your letter grade is plus letter grade. Now I'm running out of room, as you can see, and I can put this over 2 lines, make it easier to read. So this is going to be totally fine to do this. I can't split something in double quotes over 2 lines, but I haven't done that. So this actually, with 87 up here, this should say your number grade was 87, your letter grade is B. Okay, and that's fine. It's totally fine to do it that way. There's no problem. But there's an easier way of writing that, and that's by using what are called template literals. With a template literal, you use the back tick, which is right underneath the escape key in the upper part of your screen. All right. Now, I'm going to change this because I want it on 1 line. So number grade. Okay. And now I come in here and I put in the number grade, but I have to put a $sign and put it in curly braces. Now I don't need the plus anymore. And I'll put letter grade. And again, and I've got to end my backtick. So I'm going to change this other one so it looks like the first one. The first and second one look alike. Number grade plus number grade plus letter grade. Okay, these will both give you number grade 87, letter grade B on both of them. They'll give you the exact same output. All right. The recommendation is that you use this because then you're not breaking up your string into really a string and then a literal, a string, and then a literal. Here we're putting everything together. Sometimes you'll hear with with a template literal like this, you'll also hear the term interpolation because the system interpolates or figures out what that variable value is and it puts it in there with both number grade and with letter grade. Okay, that's pretty much it for right now. So we're 30 pages in. We'll pick it up in the next lecture.